want to validate, and it doesn't mean that you need that this is something that you can do in the end of the project where you got the actual demo built. That's something that your customers can do. But you can just make a journey map out of 4 A4s and just say that it goes like this. What if we do a service like this? Would you be interested? If not, why not? What is there? Or if yes, what is it about? Like, what is that? So you can brainstorm questions and topics. You can think about, you can do also, no, this is a bit hardcore, but anyway, if you have some sort of service that is like happens in a specific place, you can take them there, walk them around, talk with them, like do this kind of like story talk or story walk or walk through where they use it. Of course, if it's an app or if it's an online service, then just make them use it in that circumstance where they would actually use it. In that situation, that's the best way to do it. But here you can use as much imagination as you have. Like, what's the best way? And also, what's the cheapest way? Because prototype is a tool of communication. It's not valuable as such. Why we build prototypes is that we want to communicate that value proposition to our customers. So we're not building it just for fun. We're building it to get some information. And if you can communicate with paper and Play-Doh, then do it. Do it as fast and cheap as possible. Don't use money for that. Don't use time for that, because there's no point. Do it as fast and as cheap as possible. Of course, if you're in the later stage and then if you're like in really sophisticated R&D project in some big company, then probably it's not that cheap anymore when you're doing prototypes, but it's the later stage. Then when you're starting something from scratch, you can really start it from scratch. By the way, if you want to use service paths or journey mapping, that's the easy thing to do. We need to wipe something off. Okay. Here's the 2-minute guide for that. Do it for somebody. There is a guy or a girl, a man or a woman who is using it. And it's their process, it's not your process. We are really good in drawing our own processes, but draw their process. So what is it that it starts from? This is the really simple way. You can do blueprints if you want the more sophisticated way, but in the first stages, just do it in a really easy way. So these are called, it could say that they are called service touch points. Always, each one. So what are they? Let's say that the dude is Mike. And if Mike is using your service, trying to get your service, what are the touch points that Mike has to take while they're using your service, while he's using your service? Really simple and easy. And then if you want to make it a bit like, first he's with computer, this is computer, as you can see. And then something else. And then what? Let's say email and purchase. Then you can start to ask are all the touch points relevant for Mike? What is it that Mike finds easy? What is it that Mike finds interesting? What is it that Mike doesn't like at all? Why is that so? Or the whole path. So you can do it with the help of touch points or the whole path. Does it make sense? Okay. that goes, in my vocabulary, that is a prototype of your service. So make it cheap. Then the last one, observing. My favorite, but is I think that in the first place, you think that is the easiest because it's just you don't need to talk to anybody. You can just observe them. You can see how they are doing, see how they are using your service, or see how they are at the moment, see how their everyday life goes. But the tricky part is that when you do observation, you'll get so much information that you need to pick again what it is that you want to validate. And when you're observing, you're kind of like trying to take a still photo of a situation. We still got some food there. Yeah, good. Let's make a practice. I'm improvising here. This half, you're the observers. This half, you're the ones who are observed. Can you please go and pick up some food from the table? Some food, whatever food that you want. Do it now, please. You'll get the food later. And don't need it yet. And you can be wherever you want here. You take your pens and papers with you. This is gonna be fun. You will be feeling so awkward in a few minutes, I promise. Okay, be brave, come here. So now you're the observers. Now they are going to demonstrate you how interesting it is to eat something. So your task is to find a proper place, a proper viewpoint, and how are you going to capture that moment when they are trying to eat something. They are eating, not just trying. And you guys, your only assignment is to eat. As a tip for you guys is that think about whether you, like, if you would be now eating, if I would be here, that might be a bit uncomfortable. I'm just guessing. But if I'm here, is that just like so think about it where you are when you're doing it. Like, do you want to be close or do you want to be far away? Think about also that what can you see from here? Probably not much, except that you guys are eating in a group and you've made this yourself really felt comfortable here. So we know something, and you poor thing are just a lonely girl in the middle. So think about where you want to be. But other directions I will give you at this very moment. So you can now take your stand, go wherever you want, and in 5 seconds we'll start. Okay, and you can start your eating now. And please write down if you find something that is especially interesting for you. Now is a good time to write it down. what did you find out? What did you notice when you were observing?
That eating is quite a personal thing to catch. It was a really good task.
It's hard to get closer to them. It's really bad and not.
If you are not eating and not pretending like one of them.
Yeah, playing along. What about you guys? How did it feel?
Quite comfortable. Yeah. Like in the zoo.
I think that was a really good point, that if you're playing along, if you're kind of like doing it with, and then somehow trying to observe at the same time, that might be actually a good way to do it. Then it's also, you are making it more equal in a way. Of course, if the person doesn't know that you're observing them, then there's not that type of issue. Now you were really aware that you are being observed, so that's a bit tricky. Okay, let's get back now that we have had our snacks. You can take it as well, the observers. You were brave enough.